Bull or bear? I'm actually rolling a Howard Ruff 1 ounce silver round that I found in a bunch of silver rounds recently. And any of you that can name who Howard Ruff is, please do it in the comment section. I think you'll find the guy interesting, even if you don't know who he is. Especially in these times. It was kind of similar times we had back then when Howard Ruff was really big on his... well, anyway, I'll let you figure out who Howard Ruff is. Little mystery there. Good afternoon. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. And actually, I have the live, beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea camera up right now. Boy, that was a mouthful. I haven't put this up in a little while because, again, I haven't been doing morning or afternoon shows. But it is Saturday, man. I was out of town up in Baltimore for the Whitman Baltimore Convention Coin Show. Very good show, one of the largest on the East Coast. Run by Whitman, and flew in last night. As you know, about a year ago at the same show, I got stuck in Baltimore for 5 years during that flight fiasco. And yeah, it was Southwest. I went up in Southwest again. I keep saying I'm not going to fly Southwest, but I still did. I don't book my flights anyway. Well, lovely day again out there. What is it? Probably about 70. Hey, let's take a look. I think they put the... where is it? I think there it is. 81 degrees. Sorry about that. I was going to say 78 degrees or something, but 81 degrees out there. Man, I think I might go take a swim or something like that. Little tiny 1 foot wave, and the water temperature is probably just as warm this time of year. Well, here is the quote of the day. I don't know who said it, but I thought it was pretty cool. One oh she moment can erase. I must be careful because I think I could get my videos kind of knocked down a little bit if you say the wrong stuff. I don't know, who knows. But anyway, one oh shite moment can erase 1,000 attaboys. And ain't that the truth, folks? And by the way, happy St. Patrick Day. I think it's St. Patrick's Day. Boy, I don't know my holidays real well, but I see people walking around in green hats and green clothing. So, you know, and the Irish have a name for those moments too. Oh shit days. And that's what we had this last week when I was kind of out of town. You know, kind of halfway expected it when we saw the banks starting to go down and go sideways. In retrospect, too, I think gold and silver kind of, you know, flashed that indication that we were seeing something happening out there. And I'm not going to get into that. Most of you follow the price of gold and silver is wondering, boy, strange market last week considering everything else is down and the direction that the Fed they're talking about. But things change overnight and things change quickly. And is this our oh shit moment? I'm just going to say it. Is this our oh shit moment, folks, that I talk about, that we're all going to wake up one morning and say, oh shit? Well, you know, $100 moves in gold are not uncommon. As of late, the last several years, we've seen that gyration from the 17, 18, 1900 to the $2,000 range as well, kind of what we're seeing right now. So $100 gyrations in gold in the crooked gold markets are not uncommon at all. And silver, of course, you know, we know what silver can do. We can see $5 moves in a short period of time in silver in the collusive CME Group silver markets. So is this our oh shit moment? You know, are we going to see $2,500 gold coming up soon? I mean, are we going to blow right through there on Monday? I don't know. I would be a little bit tempered about this because when things shoot up too fast, I kind of get a little concerned that they'll back down. And here's the issue: is that that gold and silver shot up dramatically, basically because, and not so much silver. Silver didn't shoot up dramatically. It's about not too far off from where it's traded, and I wouldn't say silver has made any dramatic great moves. In fact, that's because it's being capped by the big commercials. We all know that. And here, let me put up some silver and gold prices here, what we closed at. But silver, nothing impressive. Let's take a look and see what the gold to silver ratio, probably 87, 88 to 1. Let me take a look here, though. 1988.92 divided by 22.62.
It's approximately 87.9274.
All right, so we're right there. What I was thinking about, we're in that 88 to 1 range right now on silver. Still, silver to gold ratio, still pretty a wide ratio. But you know, you have to remember, I've been saying, and actually almost about the same where it was last week when gold prices were lower and silver prices were slightly lower. So they're kind of working in tandem. But this is what I've been saying for a long time to all you silver stackers and you silver folks out there that just kind of, you know, you like, you know, you picked your particular metal. You like silver a lot, or again, you primarily have been stacking silver, not so much gold. But You got to follow gold. You know, even if you don't own it, you have to follow gold, because where gold goes, silver will follow. And that's kind of what we've seen in this particular scenario. But again, silver hasn't rocketed up. Silver is not worth what it really should be worth, in my opinion, in the opinions of people that are way smarter than me, based on real and supply-demand fundamentals. Silver's not what it's really worth. Gold, probably not so much either, but closer to reality. Why? Because central banks own gold. They don't own silver. We're going to get into that in a moment, too. Boy, everything revolves around bankers, does it? So, I mean, are we going to see $2,500 gold this week? Are we going to see $2,000 gold on a Monday or Sunday night? You know, maybe Sunday night we could. I'm not sure. But are we going to see a stomp down? Are we going to see the Crimex markets go in there and monkey hammer gold, silver, and platinum down in the overnight markets, soften it up? You know, because news now is that the bank is going to be taken care of, or will it? Who knows? I mean, lots of unknowns. And the only reason silver shot up is not because of real organic, you know, reasons, real market fundamentals. Silver shot up because it was following gold. And again, the ratio is still about the same, and that'll continue to happen until they stop capping the price of silver. And then, you know, I believe when they stop capping the price of silver, and who's they? We know who it is. They talk about it. It's the big commercials in the Crimex, Comex markets, the derivative CME groups, the world's largest derivative trading group, the CME group's Crimex, Comex markets for silver. That's where these markets manipulated. You know, that's why silver's so cheap as it is. Silver should be over $50 an ounce, in my honest opinion, in an organic way, at least, really, in reality of what, you know. But anyways, we don't live in reality, and that's that's the truth. I often forget that when I start thinking that, well, you know, I live in reality, and this is what it should be like. Well, Brian, you don't really. I'm talking to myself, Brian. You really don't live in reality all the time. None of us do. I mean, we live in a fantasy world of fakery and bullshit and manipulation in our markets, in our political world, and all that stuff. And again, that's why it's good to be close to your family and friends. Keep your circle tight, because if you can't trust them, who can you trust? All right, let's get into, look at palladium too, just hemorrhaging, even now. I suspect that, again, palladium is, in my opinion, not an investment market like you see with gold and silver. You don't have a huge amount of investors moving into that. You know, where gold goes, silver will follow, but that's not necessarily been true at all with the palladium. Platinum, somewhat. Again, I think most people, when they think investing in precious metals, they do think these three metals in that order: gold, silver, and platinum. And some people may say silver, gold, and platinum, but platinum's always in the group. Palladium, not so much. Palladium really didn't come onto the board until it became more of a industrial. It is a precious metal, though, but it's getting hammered. $25. It's going to be less than the less than the price of gold. I'm saying. I have a suspicious feeling that we'll see it kind of get down closer to that platinum price. And I believe at some point when the investment demand starts really heating up for gold and silver, folks, we haven't seen any of it too. Remember, you know, investment demand in the United States and globally, actually, but mostly in the United States, more so than probably Russia and China and India. Most citizens don't own gold in the United States, but when they start to make that move, I mean, far less than 1%, I bet, of people own physical metals, organic, real, physical, organic, but you know what I'm saying, an organic market called physical metals, which means they actually own it themselves, not the bullshit derivatives market that Comex runs, or ETFs, in my opinion. Well, all right, I'm just kind of running in circles here about what's going on, and will it be the oh shit moment on Monday morning? And I got some cool stuff to talk about, a couple articles that are kind of leading into what we are discussing right now, and a good conversation with my good friend Chat AGBT. I know, I'm getting too close to it. So, right, and I'm going to talk about what the best deals out there. You know, SD's got prices on, I think, APMEX, SD, and JM Bullion across the board is up on everything. And by the way, as you guys know, I advertise to beat APMEX, SD, and JM Bullion, except I'm not an online vendor. If you live in South Florida, you can come and visit me, and I do beat their prices. And we do ship, though. I will beat their prices if you're buying larger quantities, over 100 ounces of gold and over 1,500 ounces of silver. All right, got some of my advertising in there. So catch me at the end. I'll tell you more about that stuff as well. So again, over $2,000 gold. I was going to move into the next article, but over $2,000 gold on Sunday night or Monday. Tough to say, man. I think that if there's an illusion in the general marketplace that things have been fixed, and not even an illusion, the narrative is painted and people swallow the narrative because really it's not reality. I've been saying that for a long time. We're not living in a world of reality. We're living in a world of fantasies, manipulation, and all this kind of stuff. Propaganda, folks. I mean, it's true. So that's what we're living in. But if we look at the reality of the situation, well, anyways, another rabbit hole. All right, let me move on because this is going to be a long one if I don't. Good articles in gata.org. Where we go here. Go down a little bit. gata.org, I was going to tell you, should be on your bookmark bar. If you haven't watched my videos 1,000 times already, and I think I'm getting up to close to 1,000 videos, I don't know. gata.org should be on your bookmark bar. These guys are the really place to understand how the gold market is manipulated and the who's and why's and all that good stuff. They got good articles here. This week's article, I guess, the Swiss government orchestrating UBS acquisition of Credit Suisse. What we've been talking about is the banking system, is why that we saw the unexpected move up in the price of gold. Not silver, folks, gold. Silver, again, silver follows, silver follows. This wasn't a silver move, this was a gold move, right? So gold shot up dramatically because of that, because of its hedges of protection against a falling dollar, protection and hedge against failing banks, okay? So that's why we saw a bid up in gold, but it wasn't a huge amount of Americans. Again, there was probably some institutional buying, some central bank buying that drove up the price of gold like it did this week. But not, again, American, the average Joe out there, and you're a small percent if you're listening to my videos. You might be 1% or less of the average Joe out there that owns gold or silver in a physical form, all right? Some of them may own it on paper, ETFs or whatever it is, or God forbid in the Crimex market, but once the general public out there, and if, by the way, because they're fed a narrative and propaganda, they may find out, well, I'm not going to invest in gold, but if they find out and they start moving to gold, and Americans start buying gold as an investment on the physical side, and we get even above that 1% number at all, gold, all bets are off, folks. 2,500, I don't know, 3,000, I don't know, 3,500, I don't know, $5,000, I don't know. And I hate catching myself saying that, but remember, a very small percentage of the big money out there is in gold. Small fractional percentage. Any percentage, single-digit percentage of money, I think even 1% starts moving to gold and silver. All bets are off again, folks. We could see things just skyrocket through the roof. And this whole crisis is, again, kind of popped up. It's not a surprise to a lot of people out there. A lot of people probably expected it. That's why they've been tucking gold away at lower prices. And I'm talking about central banks and other people. So Swiss government's going to acquire Chris Sweatit. Boy, is that dyslexic when I put the C in the S? Orchestrating the USB acquisition of Credit Suisse. Oh man, LME just can't catch a break. You know why they can't catch a break? Because they're just as big fucking crooks as, there I said it, the F word, as the CME group, in my opinion. And the opinion of people much smarter than me. Bags of stones instead of nickel in the metal warehouses. Makes you wonder what kind of bars could get delivered in the comic. I shouldn't say that because that's just pure speculation and me being a big meanie to the Crimex comics people. But take a look at that, folks. That ain't conspiracy. That ain't bullshit. That is true. Again, good article you'll find on gata.org. Pam and Russ Martins, who I like to read, really says JPM's chase high risk footprint in the failed rescue of First Republic. Definitely a worthwhile read there. Talks about how Demon, that's what I call him, and Yellen helped secure $30 billion lifeline for First Republic. Again, that story goes deep and had a lot to do. Again, when people start fearing their money is going to go to, where, they do buy gold. A certain amount of people do buy gold. A very small amount did this last week, and you can see the result of that move. But as I said, this country in this world, especially in the United States, has a tendency, we have these like extreme events that we all, that everyone's panic about, and bad things happen, and all of a sudden we forget about them, I mean, think about all the big newsworthy events in the last 3 or 4 years, like who killed Jeffrey Epstein. I shouldn't have said, but it just disappeared, man. Now all of a sudden this Ukraine thing, this war, the fact that they're losing over there, and they're going to probably lose half the, at our insistence, or not our insistence, but the people that we call our officials and government's assistance, for them to continue doing that. We're not reading about that now. That's going away, and eventually so will Zelensky go away to some point. So will this banking crisis go away, and will the price of gold and silver drop on Monday? That's the big question I ask myself. Boy, I'm a talkie today, aren't I? I'm talking a lot. Had a long week. Good night's sleep though, man. Needed it. I never sleep well when I'm out of town. How about you guys? The next bomb go off in the banking crisis. Here we go. Pam and Russ Martin's. And I think this is probably the key article in this whole GATA lineup this week. Pam and Russ Martin's, the next bomb to go off in the banking crisis will be derivatives. And who is the largest market in derivatives in the whole entire world? You guessed it, the CME groups, COMEX groups. Let's just take a look. They even call themselves that. CME group, all right? And again, this is all my opinion. The world's leading derivatives marketplace out there, and this is the people we complain about because they are the ones that let the crooked commercial positions dictate the price of silver, and that's why silver's been so screwed up for so long. I was going to say the F word again, but anyways, Pam and Russ Martin's, the next bomb to go off the bank will be the derivatives market, and that's the CME group, folks. So, and when that goes frickin' belly up, or when any of those markets go belly up right there, it's going to get scary, trust me. And actually, it's probably way past due that the criminal CME group, CRIMEX group, does go, does blow up at some point. They've allowed this kind of manipulative behavior to happen in the silver markets, so you damn well know it's happening in other derivative markets. And Pam and Russ Martin talk about this in this article. Really not homework, because no one likes to do homework, but highly recommended reading that you guys read this. And again, I'm a big fan of Pam and Russ Martin stuff here. And you can read that on gata.org for free. And if you can look real carefully here, there's the URL for it, but even better, just type it in. You can duck goose, I was going to say, duck go it. All right, does the Federal Reserve own or hold gold? Okay, because one of the reasons that gold is not manipulated as much, and I've been telling you for a long time, is because central banks own gold. Central banks own gold. Does the Federal Reserve Bank own gold? All right, it doesn't even answer. This is the Fed site right here, FAQs. All right, it doesn't tell me if the Fed, that says that they have some of their gold. Why do they have gold and all that stuff? But I was starting to think to myself, central banks all over have been buying gold, and that's why gold is not manipulated as other metals, because central banks, they have ammo. Give me 1 second. Let me cut that off. And oh, she's going to be mad. Probably wants me to come and help carry groceries. All right. Where was I going to go from here? Beautiful women distract me, and she is my beautiful woman. All right, let me see here. Federal Reserve own or hold gold. And there's a reason I asked that question. I kind of want to get into that. But meanwhile, the banking crisis is what we're talking about. Will this thing continue into this upcoming week? Will it continue to spill over and cause more people to run into gold because they're afraid to hold their money at banks? Perhaps. I was surprised to see even the banks that I've used, Truist Financial, Synovus, who I like, Truist, who I don't like, used to be SunTrust, and Bank Atlantic, I believe, who merged together and became a big giant turd like Bank of America. That's my opinion. But I do like Synovus, but Synovus got hit. They're a small regional bank, as much as Truist did, and that's what I was hearing, is that the small banks, and I think my banks are fine right here, but hell, you never know, folks. And where do I have most of my money anyway? Guess what? Gold and silver, like you. But banks, will this carry over until Monday? Let's see. Again, if it does, maybe we'll break that psychological level of $2,000. And again, remember, I talk about psychological levels all the time. $2,000 is a psychological level in gold. Will they try to hammer it? Will the commercials realize that they've got more problems with running their bank, that right now they can quit this game of manipulating the price of silver? That could be true too. They could, these big banks, these big commercials that cheat us in the silver markets on the Crimex commercial silver markets, they may have bigger fish to fry, and they may maybe they'll jump into the long side on this and finally let the price of gold and silver go up. Great article here that I highly recommend reading, which is Visualizing 30 Years of Central Bank Gold Demand. This is what we've just been talking about. And I'm going to kind of go into this a little bit more here as well, folks, and I got some cool things for you. It's a long video today. However, I think I've just built up of not doing videos for the last 4 days and today. And watch, I'll get like 2 views today. 5 views if I'm lucky, 10 views. All right, let me get a sip of coffee here. Anybody yet figure out who Howard Ruff is? Let me put down the Howard Ruff coin I've been holding in my hand. Good article. Again, you can read this for free on Zero Hedge, Visualizing 30 Years of Central Bank Gold Demand. And I'm going to read this because it won't take too long. Well, sure it will. When you're done with this video, it'll be 3 hours. Did you know that nearly 1/5 of all gold ever mined is held by central banks? As visual capitalist Govinda Bhuttada details below, besides investors and jewelry consumers, central banks are the major source of gold demand. In fact, in 2022, central banks snapped up gold at the fastest pace in 1967. And again, this is why I tell you folks, gold is not as manipulated as silver. Silver is the most manipulated freaking metal out there, in my opinion. Oh, maybe palladium, platinum are, but who knows? Central banks own gold. The above infographic uses data from the World Council, so it's 30 years of banking. Good infographic. Again, you can blow this up and read this on Zero Hedge here. I highly recommend you do. Cool article like the Pam and Russ Martin's article I was just showing you on gata.org. Recommended reading. Why do central banks buy gold? Well, we know why. They buy gold and they pawn the bullshit paper on us. Gold plays an important role in financial reserves of numerous nations. Here are 3 of the reasons why central banks hold gold. The switch from selling and buying. In the 1990s and early 2000s, central banks were net sellers of gold. There were several reasons behind the sell, including good macroeconomic conditions and a downward trend in gold prices. Due to strong economic growth, gold safe haven properties were less valuable at the time. The low returns made it unattractive as an investment. Central banks, but again, as an investment, folks. But that's the big mistake, viewing gold primarily as an investment. Gold is insurance. If these banks out there, so these small regional banks, all right, if like a Signature Bank or the Reserve Bank in New York, whatever the hell it was, if these banks had simply had gold instead of low yield treasuries that they were bullied into by the Treasury and the Fed to buy, if they had gold, their books would look a lot better. All right, work a lot better. It's a coffee morning too. Anyways, give me 1 sec here. Boy, okay. Central banks' attitudes towards gold started changing in '97, Asian financial crisis, and then 2007 and 2008 financial crisis. And since 2010, central banks have net buyers on gold on an annual basis. And remember, where gold goes, silver will follow, even though silver will get monkey hammered and it's probably should be worth twice as much as it is right now. But I digress. Here's looking at the 10 largest official buyers of gold from '99 to 2021. Russia, China, Turkey, your BRICS nations here, if you notice, a lot of them, folks. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Saudi Arabia, Thailand, Poland, Mexico. And by the way, big news right now is the Saudis and Iran have friendlied up here. So, and not to the chagrin of, or to the chagrin, I guess I should say, of moronic foreign policy makers in our country. And they are morons. I'm telling you, our foreign policy people in the United States are fucking morons. Sorry, I said it again. Source, another rabbit hole there. The top 10 official buyers of gold between '99 and 2021 represent 84% of all gold bought by central banks during this period. Russia and China, arguably the United States' top geopolitical rivals, have been the world's largest gold buyer over the last 2 decades. Russia, in particular, accelerated its gold purchase by being Western sanctions following. So, okay, all right. Here we go. Again, I probably should let you guys read this, because if you read it yourself, you're going to be more likely to kind of absorb it. You can find this again on Zero Hedge. Turkey experienced an 86% year-over-year inflation, was a large buyer of gold. All right, but I'm thinking to myself, the Federal Reserve, the Federal Reserve, the Federal Reserve is our central bank, and I've never really brought this up before, but the Federal Reserve of our bank is run by private banks. All right, Turkey, for example, and we're going to get into this because I had a really cool conversation, and actually, let's just jump into it right now. All right, I asked this question right here because I thought ChatGPT could explain it to you way better than I could. I have it in my head. I just thought Chat could do it better than I can for the most part in some stuff. Remember, garbage in, garbage out, and this ChatGPT is prone to garbage out as well because of garbage in. Does the Federal Reserve own gold? I asked my little ChatGPT friend here. Yes, the Federal Reserve System holds a significant amount of gold in its own reserves, as well as on behalf of other central banks and U.S. Treasury. The gold is held in the form of gold bars in secure storage facilities, and that's in the New York Fed building, I believe, in New York City. The exact amount of gold held by the Federal Reserve is not publicly disclosed, but more secrets. But it is known to be one of the largest holders of gold in the world. So many secrets when it comes to our gold, folks. And trust me, it's got nothing to do with national security. Maybe just something to do with saving their own asses. But I digress. So I asked ChatGPT, if the Federal, hold on. And I asked again, because right here, if you notice, it said, does the Federal Reserve own gold? Yes, it says, but that's not true. It's not true. So again, garbage in, garbage out. So I asked ChatGPT, I'm getting confused myself here, if the Federal Reserve itself owned gold, not held it, because ChatGPT did answer correctly. It said yes, and they don't own gold. I happen to know this, and we know this. And ChatGPT again confirms that I was correct on this. Yes, the Federal Reserve System holds gold both as a reserve asset and as a custodian for others. Holds gold. I asked if it owns gold. Big difference there between holding and owning. But it does not own the gold it holds. There's the answer I originally asked. The gold is owned by the U.S. Treasury, and the Federal Reserve acts as a custodian of the Treasury's gold holding. By the way, folks, if I disappear and you don't hear me from Monday anywhere, even on Rumble, I'm probably in a prison somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. I've disappeared. And I asked ChatGPT, is the U.S. Treasury and Federal Reserve independent of each other? And I know the answer to this. I want to see what the answer I get here. The U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve are two separate entities with different functions, but they do work together to manage the country's monetary policy. The U.S. Treasury is responsible for collecting taxes, managing government, blah, blah, blah. We know this, all right? But the funny thing is, true. You know, it's funny if you think about it constitutionally, the U.S. Treasury is supposed to be responsible for coining money of gold and silver, making sure our money is good, not giving it over to a bunch of private bankers like we did in 1913. But again, I digress. So what they really do is just collect taxes for the Federal Reserve. But I digress again. It says the Federal Reserve, on the other hand, is the central bank of the United States and is responsible for setting monetary policy, regulating banks, and maintaining the stability of the financial system. The Fed also conducts open market operations. There you go. That sounds like covert operations. Open covert market operations. It manages, and that's what they do. These open market operations are really covert operations because, as we're going to find out here, they're very secretive about all this stuff. Oh man, someone's having some fun out there. I'm in my office right now. I'm tempted to go out and look. What does that sound like to you guys? I can't tell, actually. I'm trying to look outside. Well, anyways, see how easily distracted I am by fast cars and beautiful women? Oh, gosh. All right, well, anyway, while the Treasury and the Fed work closely together, they are technically independent of each other. The Federal Reserve is not under the direct control of the President or Congress, and we know this. Not the President, Congress, nor God himself, herself, whatever, they self, it could make the Federal Reserve tell us anything, okay? So I go on here, why does the Federal Reserve, and I ask, why does the Federal Reserve hold U.S. citizens' gold? Why wouldn't it be held at Fort Knox with the rest of our gold, question mark? Does the Federal Reserve make money off U.S. gold holdings? Do they lease it? Did we make a deal? I'm asking I'm really machine gunning some questions here. I want to see how it responds. Did we make a deal with the Fed where they are not just custodians but use gold as potential collateral against Treasury default? I guess I'm confused why private bank groups hold any of the United States gold supply. Please explain. And if you think about it, folks, that's a reasonable question to ask for most folks, right? And again, the reason I ask ChatGPT, when I can eventually get it to answer properly, it gives really great answers. And ChatGPT says, The Federal Reserve holds gold as a custodian for the U.S. Treasury, which is responsible for managing the nation's gold reserves. The gold held by the Federal Reserve is stored in the form of gold bars at various Federal Reserve banks and is considered part of the nation's gold official. Okay, blah, blah, blah. All right. The reason, now this gets more interesting, why the gold is held at the Federal Reserve banks and not at Fort Knox is due to historical and logistical reasons. All right. Now, had I gone into a little more detail, I wanted to ask this question, I would ask what are those historical and logistical reasons, but I did not, and I don't want to digress here. So Fort Knox was originally built to store gold, but has not been used for that purpose since the 1970s. Well, why is that? And that kind of odd thing too, it says, was built to store gold, but not been used for that purpose. So what's it being used for now? Does that mean it doesn't store any gold? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Again, should have questioned that right there. And the Federal Reserve banks, on the other hand, have secure storage facilities. I mean, used to store gold for many decades. All right, okay, I get that. Pay someone else to store it for you. We've heard that problem before, haven't we, folks? All right, pay someone else to store your gold and silver for you. Isn't that the stupidest thing you heard? But hey, what do you expect from government? The Federal Reserve does not make money from holding U.S. gold reserves. It is a custodian of the gold, and its role is to store the gold securely and ensure its safekeeping. The gold is not leased out or used as collateral against Treasury default. It is important to note that the Federal Reserve is not a private bank, but rather a quasi-public institution that operates independently within the government. Again, a lot of stuff we already know, a lot of stuff I know, but I wanted to, kind of ask specific questions. I thought we could get some good answers. So I ask again because I know this is not true. It says that they never, it's not leased out or used as collateral. That's not true. Garbage in, garbage out. ChatGPT AI gave me a bad answer here because I know that's not true. So I ask again. Sometimes you got to do this. Remember, this ChatGPT is not the brightest thing out there, although when it does hit on something, it's like, a squirrel with an acorn, man. I think that was a good analogy to use. So the Federal Reserve never leased out U.S. gold holdings, I ask. And this is more specific. And finally, I get an honest answer. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York has conducted gold leasing operations in the past. You know where I'm going with this, folks, is central banks own gold. We've got a big banking issue out there. Our central bank, where is our gold? And we should be looking at our gold as a national asset. Where is our gold? Who has it? Why is there no transparency in this? And I'm going to move along here because, again, I'm getting ahead of myself. However, the U.S. Treasury and Federal Reserve have stated that no U.S. government gold is currently on loan, nor has been on loan since 2008. That's what U.S. Treasury and Federal Reserve says, okay? All right, answer. And you can see that the wheels are turning in my head and yours as well, saying, well, how do we know that's true? But I'm going to move along here. It's worth noting that the Federal Reserve Bank holds gold as a custodian for many countries and international organizations. Boy, more fools. Not just the United States, and may conduct gold transactions on behalf of those entities, all right? Well, other central banks are buying and selling gold through the Fed. Well, what are we doing with our gold there? It's just sitting there, storage? Something stinks here. And they admit to actually leasing in the past. So I ask, so all the loan gold was returned. Where's the proof, data of these leases and returns? Hey, that's a reasonable question to ask, am I right? Let's see what ChatGPT comes back with. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here. The Federal Reserve has disclosed information about its gold holdings and gold leasing activities in its financial statements. The Federal Reserve's financial statements provide some information about the amount of gold held and any gold leasing activity that has occurred during the reporting period. Blah, 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 U.S. account. Again, I'm going to move along fast here. You can read this, pause it, read the rest of it, but it's kind of blah, blah, blah. It's basically information that was probably pulled right off the Fed site. And I looked at the Fed site here, and basically, ChatGPT's pulling this kind of information, but way faster than I can, and organizing it way better than I can. But again, garbage in, garbage out. Nothing here on the Fed's own site about it. So I don't expect GPT to get the data any better on some instances, all right, just faster. So I'm going to skip over this. This is just blah, 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 audit what the government says. So I asked ChatGPT, why would U.S. government have national, hang on a second. It is worth noting that the U.S. government and the Federal Reserve do not disclose all details of the gold holdings, and this is what perked my interest in this last question I asked in the response, all right? Not the official responses, but ChatGPT does come up with something good here and says, disclose all the details of their gold holdings and transactions for national security reasons, which could include leasing activities. And that, again, really piqued my interest here. And so I asked, why would U.S. government have national security reasons not to discuss gold leases? All right, ChatGPT, again, one of the beauties why I like this, comes up with this, like an honest 8-year-old, 12-year-old, not trying to hold information back from you, even though the information, again, is what is fed to it. There are several potential reasons why the U.S. government may not disclose information about gold leases, and national security could be one of them. Here are a few possible explanations, all right? A strange rabbit hole that we jumped down here. International relations. The U.S. may not want to reveal the extent to which it has loaned or sold its gold to foreign governments as, the U.S. government may not to, and here's very detailing, has loaned or sold our gold to foreign governments. Wow. As this information could be sensitive and potentially affect diplomatic relations. Market stability. If it widely known that a large amount of U.S. gold reserves were leased out, it could create uncertainty and volatility in the gold market, potentially leading to destabilization. That's why they lied. Folks, they have leased it out. Have we got all of it back? Maybe, perhaps. Is there proof and evidence of this? No, there isn't. And the other one is security concerns. Revealing detailed information about gold leases could potentially compromise the physical security of U.S. gold reserves and increase the risk. Bullshit. Yeah, you're going to break into Fort Knox, so give me a break. Anyways, that's a nonsense reason. Overall, while there's no concrete evidence to suggest that the U.S. government has engaged in secret gold leasing, it is possible that some level of secrecy may be maintained for the above reasons or other national security considerations. Woo, that was a breathful, huh? So I asked, no concrete evidence. However, enough smoke to assume there could potentially be a fire, if you understand the term, correct? And basically what I was saying here, I was just seeing if ChatGPT understood basic phrases and terms that people may use to describe something. So, what I'm saying, basically there's enough smoke to assume there could be a fire here. And ChatGPT understood exactly what I was saying by saying that is a reasonable way to put it. While there is no concrete evidence to suggest that gold leases by the U.S. government and Federal Reserves have resulted in, impropriety, the lack of transparency and accountability around these activities raises questions and concerns. This has led to some speculate there could be some kind of irregularity or malfeasance occurring. Without concrete evidence, it is difficult to say. And basically, there's no reason why there should be any secrecy in our national gold supply. None. Unless there's some kind of malfeasance, in my opinion, or some kind of nonsense happening. And again, I'm just bringing this up, folks. This is my opinion. And probably the opinion of people that are way smarter than me. So I ask again, ChatGPT, who gave the Fed the right to lease our gold? The Treasury? And if so, who gave them permission to make such a risky agreement with a valuable national asset owned by the people? And ChatGPT answers me, the Federal Reserve was authorized to hold blah, 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 Federal Reserve Act, blah, 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 and issue Federal Reserve notes in exchange for gold. The act to hold the gold reserves of member banks and to issue Federal Reserves exchange for gold. We're off the gold standard, so this gets a little confusing here, but the Secretary of the Treasury, acting as a fiscal agent of the government, has the authority to order the transfer of gold from the U.S. Mint to the Federal Reserve banks to be held as a reserve asset. However, the precise terms, again, folks, secrecy, no transparency, where there really should be in our national gold holdings. We own this stuff, not them, certainly not the Federal Reserve, and there's no transparency or whatever. And it even says this right here. However, the precise terms and conditions of any gold leases or swaps made by the Fed are not publicly disclosed. No transparency, as they are deemed to be confidential information related to the Fed's monetary operation. There's a lot of rabbit holes we could jump to, and I'm not making this stuff up, but I think ChatGPT answered quite honestly there. Where's our gold, man? Where's the beef? More or less. All right, let me move out of here and move into, hope you enjoyed that. A lot of cool things you can learn from that ChatGPT if you know what to ask and know how to ask it. What's the best deals out there? I'm looking at SD Bullion, man. The prices are just crazy on 1 ounce silver rounds right now. They're getting what? Here, let's do some math here. What's the current spot price? By the way, I can beat their prices. I can beat Atmex. I can beat JM Bullion prices. So if you live in South Florida, come visit our brick and mortar store at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals, and we'll beat all these guys' prices on gold and silver products. Meanwhile, I do want to talk about their premiums, and they are way higher than I am right now. May not last long. I may find my supplies drying up pretty soon too, but why they're selling silver rounds at like $4 and $5 over. We were at like spot plus $2.60, $3 or something this last week. But again, that could change for me as well. What are the premiums here? Let's just use, if you're buying 1,500 more ounces of silver from SD Bullion, and by the way, I can beat that price for sure as well. Let's see what they want if you're buying more than 1,500 ounces. They're at 27.16 as low as, and remember, as low as means you got to buy a lot of them. And what's their silver price? 22.87. Let's see. 22.87 subtract 27.16.
It's negative 4.29.
Woo! They're at 4.25 plus on 1,500 ounces and more. Folks, I was selling them at spot plus $2.63 this last week. Why they're selling them at that price. Sorry I didn't get a chance to tell you that. I've been away again in Baltimore. So, but our store has been busier than hell. I got to check and see what our inventory is going to look like on Monday. But again, I advertise to beat SD, JM, and Atmex, and I've been warning everyone. You know, the low premiums are going to go away, and it looks like we are starting to see that right now. Let's take a look at gold products. And like I said, I like SD Bullion. By the way, I like Atmex, JM. I think they're great companies. That's why I advertise to beat them, because if you're going to beat someone, who do you want to beat? You want to beat the good guys. And let's see what gold eagles are at right now. Hang on. What are they showing for the gold price? I've been selling them at spot plus 110, 115. I bet you they're probably up from there. Let's take a look. 21. How many you got to buy for that price? Ooh, 100. I could definitely beat that price. If you buy 100 gold eagles, I can beat that price. If you buy 1 to 9, I can beat their price as well. Let's take their 1 to 9 price. 21.71. All right, and change. 21.71. Hang on a second. 21.71 subtract 1,997.51.
It's negative 1,975.8.
Oh, all right. Obviously, I did not do that prep properly. Let me do this again. 2,147 subtract 1,997.51.
That would be 149.49.
Woo! Premiums are back up on gold eagles, and man, I've been selling for like 115, 120. I better check supply on Monday, but premiums are running back up again. Holy smokes. Real quick, too, almost on an overnight basis. Again, are we going to see over $2,000 gold this week? Psychological number? Tough to say here. All right, let me move along here. Like I said, folks, I'll advertise to beat their prices. Best deals are still probably 1 ounce gold bars. So if you're looking to buy gold, silver, platinum, you live in South Florida, I am the guy to come to. I'll also beat the locals. And if you're looking to buy more than 100 ounces of gold, more than 1,500 ounces of silver, call me. Don't have an online site, but we can do business on the phone through typical, traditional wires and traditional shipping methods. I think that's really about it. I'm going to go into a little bit on, and then I'm going to go out and maybe take a swim at that beach that we were looking at. Let's take a look and see what it looks like right now. Hang on, it's like, looks beautiful out there. I think I will. I think I'll go swimming after this. Let me answer some questions here. And that was sell dollars and buy gold. Hey, I was right on the mark there. That was last Monday, I guess. Sorry, again, I was out of town. Or Tuesday I did this video. I think it was last Monday. So, yeah. It's over a week I did this. And I think, boy, I was on target with what that's at. No, AI was on target. But I just kind of directed AI to say that. I'm liking these little AI conversations. Eli, you're right. Silver is proving to be a hedge, protection hedge, and it always will be, and it has been. It's still way underpriced in my opinion. I think silver should be over $50 an ounce naturally. Gold should definitely be over $2,500 an ounce naturally. Again, the big question: $2,000 gold this week. Tough to say. Let's see how quick the banking crisis scenario disappears off the minds of average Americans and investors out there. Michael Matthews, you actually got me on a coffee date here. Here we go. Cheers to you. Ooh, I'm losing my voice. That's how I can tell I talk too much. There you go, Donald Robinson. I was asking, we are full-blown spring break here in South Florida, and if you take a look, I don't see many people on the beach. Usually they're on the other side of the pier there. But we are full-blown spring break, and I was talking about that last Monday night's video. The last video I did, again, I was out of town, and I asked, I forgot what movie they did down at Fort Lauderdale Strip, which is only a half a mile or so from me here, a mile maybe at most. And it's Connie Francis, 1963, Where the Boys Are. And Pier 66, I think, is basically got torn down and redone. It's a whole different place now. The marina is totally different too since you last been there, probably. Donald. Chris Dutcher, what's up, dude? Hope you and your wife are well. Hope everything's going well. I wish I had a monster box of gold eagles, but yeah, 500 gold eagles. What's 500 gold eagles worth? 850, 900,000. We just sold like almost that amount in gold bars recently. I think Marcella put it up on her Instagram account. Hey, hope everything's well. Thanks for commenting. Show pros, what's up? Yeah, there you go. Can't argue with that. Now the vapors. Sold my junk silver this morning. Picked up a Perth Lunar Rabbit and used $50. All right, Chris, keep making those deals, dude. Maxwell Johnson. Oh, okay, that's a Bang Bang Maxwell. Silver came today. Yep, I know who that is. That's a Beatles song. Thanks for bringing it up. Sometimes shit goes right over my head, sir. Orphan Charmander says AI must be China. Don't follow the test. Yeah, yep. Contradicting you. Why do you sell your gold and silver for fiat? Central banks hold an asset gold. Don't worry about it. Have lots of paper. Yeah, I guess. What's up? What's up there? Enjoy the dream life. Nate W. You can use for bartering. Nate, I just don't see us ever using this stuff for bartering. That's been one of my common themes in my video for the last couple years now. No, I don't see us bartering. Even in inflationary Germany, during high inflationary times, the German people still use marks. Even though it took millions of them in a wheelbarrow full of them to buy some bread or food, they still use marks. And that's exactly the same thing will happen if it happens here in a hyperinflationary environment. You won't be trading your silver because 99% of the people won't have any clue what real silver looks like, especially the younger generation. They'll know a way to verify it. They'll still want their stupid frickin' bills, just like inflationary Germany did, okay? And remember, back then during inflationary Germany time, hyperinflationary German time, they were on gold and silver standards, man. So they understood gold and silver coins, but they still use paper. All right, you'll do the same. It'll just take, you'll take your 1 ounce of silver and you'll go out and you'll buy $1 million US with it, and then you'll go buy a loaf of bread with that. You see where I'm going? But you're not going to use it for direct trade. It's just not going to happen. I'd be happy to debate any YouTuber out there on this. And that's a challenge. But meanwhile, hey man, owning silver, no matter what your reason, is a great thing. I had fun at the show. Joe, thanks for asking. And Baltimore is still kind of a ghost town. I'm really surprised. I think that the image of all that crime, which doesn't happen necessarily all in one area, but it is dangerous. Baltimore's a dangerous area. Really, the problem with Baltimore is the people that run it. That's the problem. It's beautiful. Baltimore's a great place. The people are great. It's just the people that run it have, they've, just like they have done everything else, they've screwed it up. Every major city out there, almost. And unfortunately, they're all mostly blue cities. But don't get me wrong, there's some shit red cities out there as well. Climate change, and I have equal disdain for both parties, as most of you know, although if I had to pick the lesser evil, is definitely the red party is the lesser evil by a long shot today, but they're still the lesser evil. Climate change, obviously. Gold is protected military fort with soldiers, papers protected drive-through rent. I don't know, man. AI kind of depressed me by saying that Fort Knox is no longer used as a gold suppository. Is that true? I mean, I don't know. Was that a faux pas? All right, the government needs to bail out the people that are losing their homes because the poor government pushed inflation through the roof. Government just needs to stop bailing anyone out. The government needs to cut itself size down to 1/10, decrease the military budget by about 80%, go back to working domestic issues and become a country of commerce and trade instead of war and nonsense and bullshit. Huichi, all Frank. My friend last year told the medals are going to sky high, but nobody believed the achievements are pulled. Yeah, well, we will. But again, the big question is it Monday? Let's see. They started the printing press again, bailouts. Yeah, I know, man. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Celeste says, weird, the AI classified credit cards as an asset. I missed that, Celeste, but thanks for bringing that up. Big Dog, this is the reason I listen to your whole spiel, no matter how long you go on talking. Yeah, I know, I'm a big mouth. because embedded in your spiel, therein lies your wisdom. Ooh, I got wisdoms. That comes with age and whole life experience and knowledge and stacking community. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thanks for watching, big dogs. And again, very nice comment there. Hot-headed Joel, haha, says, love your show. Can't agree on not buying 90%. I think we'll see prices go way higher in the Eagles. Starting to disappear. Call 3 coin jumps. Yeah, 90's getting, but they're not making any more 90. They just don't make it. Most of it's there's tons of it out there. It's just in the hands right now that aren't willing to sell it at these levels. They like owning it, like yourself. And BMD Loan likes junk silver as well. And so does Dario Perez, I think. But yep, premiums are getting bad. You hit it right on the mark, my friend. Well, listen, folks, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Hey, listen, if you don't find me on this channel one day, this particular forum, which, you know, I do have a big mouth, and sometimes I'll say something, and I'm eventually suspecting sometime I'll say something that will get me a bad mark. I haven't yet. But now whether I get my videos put up in the feed, that's a whole different story as well. But listen, if you ever don't find me there, here, you can find me here. And I like this forum right here. It's kind of sad that it's not kind of picked up a lot more, because their free speech format is really pretty awesome in my opinion, as well as what Elon Musk has done to Tweet. I am on Tweet. I've got actually 2 more friends in the last couple of days, and catch me there. You can ask me questions. I will answer them as well. And again, I like Tweet. Didn't like it before. Had an account for a long time. Just never used it. Using it more now because, again, I think it's more of a free speech forum than it ever was, just like this forum. So, hey, that's it, folks. Listen, if you catch... Man, I forgot what I was going to say now. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, and you live anywhere in South Florida, we got a brick and mortar here. We've been here since 1995 in this building. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. We can beat APMEX, SDJ, and Bullion on all their bullion products that are reasonably priced, as well as the locals down here. And if you don't live in South Florida and you're looking to buy more than 100 ounces of gold, more than 1,500 ounces of silver, give us a call. We can work traditional wires and traditional forms of shipping. And that's it. Again, hey, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to head over to the beach, and I will talk to you on Monday. Let's see what happens. $2,000 gold, $25 silver. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think we'll see $25 silver. 23, 24, perhaps. Okay. I'm done speculating. I'll see you later. Bye now.